The postseason journey begins here. Tonight, two Central Illinois programs are set to do battle in a Class 5A first-round matchup. It's the 16-seeded Normal U-High Pioneers taking on the top-seeded host, Washington Panthers. We welcome you into tonight's broadcast here on Clutch Sports Media alongside Christian Courtney. It's Gavin Russell on the call with the rest of the Clutch Sports Media team. We're always happy to be here at Babcock Field in Washington, Illinois. It's a chilly night, but this is exactly what you want. Playoff football, the lights in full effect. Doesn't get much better than this, Christian.
Yeah, you said it best, Gavin. Football weather is how I would describe it. Two tough teams meeting today. And, Normal coming in with a 5-4 record on the season. Don't be fooled, though. This team is coming off a 3-game win streak. Very tough team. And obviously on the other end, the Panthers, 8-1 on the season. Quite the impressive season they've had.
They've had a very impressive season, and kind of get a look there at the Panthers being introduced. Let's start talking about them. They're a team very fundamental year in and year out. They are just one of the best in Central Illinois. They've had so many special moments and seasons, but who do we look at this season to get the job done for the Panthers?
Well, I think you got to stick to what's working, and for the Panthers, that's their run game. Will Freeman, nearly 1,200 yards on the season, 18 touchdowns. That is impressive. And if you're the Panthers, you got to continue to stick on that run game and rely on it.
No doubt about that. And look on the other side, the U-High Pioneers, you mentioned, a little bit misleading, 5-4, 3-game win streak. They play a bit of a different style of football, not so much focused on the run, but they'll really air it out all over the place on the field.
Yeah, they sure will, and that starts with Cunningham, the senior, number 2, 900 receiving yards on the season, 13 touchdowns. He's really been a great threat for them through the air.
Definitely has. As both teams get ready, it was Washington to win the toss, so Normal U-High will be receiving the ball to start this game out. Again, it's the number 1 versus number 16 here in Class 5A. Number of games going on across the state this evening. Many games will continue tomorrow in the first round. The Pioneers find themselves in their traveling white uniforms, green numerals. They've got white helmets with kind of a yellowish fade on the bottom side. Definitely liking the style there from the Pioneers. On the other side, it's that classic Panther orange with the white bottoms, white helmets, that familiar Washington W on the sides. A little bit chilly here. Washington stands nice and full. That's one thing that head coach Todd Stevens told me earlier this week, Christian. No matter what, through the thick and thin, Washington fans show up. They've been here through the nice weather, through the poor weather, and they're here again tonight.
Yeah, a little bit lucky tonight, as it was way colder earlier in the week. Kind of warmed up just a bit. Nonetheless, a little bit of chilly night tonight.
I don't think these teams have won any other way, though. Lots of sweatshirts, lots of coats, but that means it's time for playoff football, and we're ready for every second of the action here on ClutchSportsIL.com. Kick back, relax, and enjoy. 4 quarters of football coming your way. Tell your friends, tell your family to join us. It's Devin Miller, the star kicker, the senior, will be booting it away for the Panthers. One of the best kickers in Central Illinois. Miller lines it up, and he boots it away. We're underway in the first round, as U-High will receive it right at the goal line. Gets a couple of blocks, makes a couple men miss, and finally brought down around the 25-yard line, as it'll be favorable field position for U-High. Looking at this U-High offense, we talked about them a little bit, Christian. They made a change at quarterback mid-season. It's going to be Griffin Meyer, who's been under center the last 3 weeks. A reason being they made the change, looking for a little more dual threat action. What do we expect from him tonight?
Yeah, you talk about dual threat. We want to see on both ends. Utilize the legs underneath him. Keep this Panthers defense on their toes and keep them, second guessing if he's going to pass or if he's going to take off and run.
That's what they want for sure. He'll be under center. It's going to be Cade Cunningham, the star receiver in motion. Pitches it out. Couple men missing and fighting forward near the first down sticks.
Carried by the Pioneers, number 12, Max Dameron.
Max Dameron, he took over at running back. Another story we'll talk about throughout this game, as they made a switch at running back mid-season also. Max Dameron 259 yards in 3 starts. Here's a throw deep down the field, going deep. It's a jump ball. It's intercepted. Washington with a big takeaway. And it's Owen Klein coming up with the pick.
Yeah, tremendous play right there by Klein. As we saw Meyer going for the deep ball, a little bit underthrown. It was a jump ball between Klein and Cunningham, and Klein comes down with it.
A correction, that was A.J. Jones, the senior. Klein's had quite a few interceptions, 5 of them to be exact. This time it's A.J. Jones, so not to take credit away from him, but a very nice play right there. And immediately, huge swing in momentum. Washington gets the football. It's a handoff to Will Freeman. Makes a couple men miss. Now he's heading right up the field. Will Freeman, a big gainer. First play offensively from scrimmage.
Yeah, that's exactly what this Panther team wants to do. We talked about it earlier, but utilizing their stars, and Freeman has been just that for them. An easy gain right there, almost untouched through 10 yards.
They move across midfield, so if you've just joined us, a fast start. U-High threw an interception on their second play on offense. Washington moving quickly. Don't blink or you might miss it. Here's Noah Garcia. Passes to A.J. Jones, makes a nice move. He's got some blocking upfield. He's to the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Washington.
What a start for Washington, and what a start for Jones. Interception, comes back on the offensive side of the ball and has himself a great touchdown.
And there was a lot of yak on that play, yards after catch. He made a one-man miss, got a nice block on the sideline. Easy touchdown, A.J. Jones making his presence felt.
Ben, you're up. Cameras are doing a better job than I am directing, but it looks really good so far. Commentators are doing good. Listeners can
Devin Miller. He's going to have a flag before he takes this extra point.
So there's a few, that's why.
We have a dead ball.
Waiting on the call from the official. I believe it's going to be on U-High. So it won't change much. Up a couple steps for Devin Miller on the PAT. What a start, though, for the Panthers. As Miller kicks it through, and it is good. As 7-0 start, just over a minute into this ball game, and that's exactly what you want to do if you're Washington.
Oh, 100% there, Gavin. We were talking earlier, if you're Washington, you can't take these teams lightly. You have to be on guard, and that's exactly what the Panthers have done here. Just over a minute or 2 minutes played here, and they've already put 7 points on the board and created a takeaway.
That's a big thing to do. Big game-changing plays, but, you know, as a former player yourself, Christian, you've been on kind of the other side of this where you lost the first-round matchup. What do you do now if you're U-High? You're only down 1 score. There's a lot of game left to go. How do you reverse the script, get back into your own element, put yourself in this football game?
Well, something my coaches always preached and that we live by was this next play mentality. You can't keep yourself hung up on that interception. You have to go out there and forget about it. Next play mentality, keep moving forward.
We'll see if U-High can move forward. They'll get another opportunity. Again, just 2 plays from scrimmage for them. Haven't even dug too deep into their core of players. They've got a lot of great playmakers on their team. Washington still in the show, though, early on. As they'll look to create a little something on this kickoff. Miller once again sends it away. Into the end zone, and they're going to let this one bounce out of the back of the end zone. Back on offense, we talked about Griffin Meyer, but Cade Cunningham, who we've talked about a little bit as well, he's had a tremendous season. 895 yards, 13 touchdowns on the season. Twice in his career an all-conference receiver. He's probably going to be the favorite target of Griffin Meyer this evening.
Yeah, I would have to agree. So, you know, Cunningham, not the tallest receiver, only standing 5'10", but he gets it done, and you have to be able to utilize your stars. As you said, 900 yards, 13 touchdowns. He's really been a force to be reckoned with all season long.
They will need every bit of him this evening to take down the Panthers. It's a man in motion, going to hand it off again, met in the backfield. And a whole host of Panthers comes through. They're going to give him forward progress. Still loses a couple yards. I think the big thing here for the U-High offense, the offensive line is going to need to step up and create some way to get some yardage.
Yeah, we saw Charlie Anthony, the first to get in on that play, and he's a linebacker. He was able to blitz freely. Didn't look like any offensive lineman was able to pick him up, and he was able to meet him in the backfield.
Not going to run the ball a whole lot. Again, it's going to be a lot of passing, a lot of quarterback runs. Here's another pass. Throws it out. Cunningham is not able to hook up with Meyer. Something notable, though, kind of mentioned it earlier, they made a change at running back. Rhett Lynch still leads the team in rushing yards this season. He's now playing at right guard. So I don't think many people have seen that too much. Your leading rusher moves to the offensive line, but that's what Coach Brody Walworth said they needed to do to make some adjustments.
Yeah, certainly uncharacteristic.
Meyer rolls out, throws it on the run. Did he hook up with the receiver? No, it is incomplete. And it'll be fourth down. U-High will have to punt it away, most likely.
Yeah, not the response you're looking for U-High. As you can see, Meyer a little bit shaken up off that interception, unable to hit 2 targets today on this drive.
Again, Meyer, this is only his 4th week starting this season. Before that, it was Owen Kirby, who's passed for over 1,100 yards in about 6 games worth this season. So Kirby, very capable. He may get into the game later. You never know. It's going to take a bit of a U-High bounce, but still short of midfield, so very, very favorable field position for Washington. And we saw A.J. Jones, but digging a little farther into this offense, they can pass a little bit themselves. Noah Garcia, just a sophomore, but he's had a very respectable season so far.
Yeah, you talk about Garcia, 600 passing yards and 7 touchdowns, but along with that, 529 rushing yards. We talk about the dual threat that U-High has. Washington's just there with them, and I would like to see Washington create that, second option, keeping the defense on their toes with a running back or QB that can run the ball.
Yeah, they like to do a lot of play action, capable of a lot with a versatile quarterback. And again, Garcia, just a sophomore, getting a lot of good recognition. He's got a long way to go in his career. Hands it off to Freeman. He gets some space to run. He cuts back through. He's fighting off tackles. He's still going. One play, another touchdown for Washington.
What an impressive run right there by Freeman, the guy we've been highlighting all night. He's able to break his tackles and stay on his feet, running with authority.
What a play there from Will Freeman, and looked like a lot of upper body tackle attempts. He's able to just throw that stiff arm out. I think you got to hit him lower than that probably. As a former linebacker yourself, know that all too well.
Yeah, you run through those arm tackles really easily. You have to be able to target the lower body.
The PAT is up and good as you get another look there at Will Freeman running through the U-High defense and scoring 14-0 as Miller puts his second point after through.
Really just a pitch-perfect start for Washington. 3 plays ran on the offensive side of the ball and 14 points.
Not taking them lightly whatsoever. U-High, though, again, very much a spread offense. If they start clicking, they could find themselves some quick offense of their own. So far from out of this game. They'll need to make some changes, though, most definitely. U-High definitely has gotten a big player to come back off of injury, missed most of the season from the start. Chinzo Catone, he's only played 3 games, only 1 reception over those 3 games, probably easing back into matters. He also plays on defense. He came up with an interception in his 3 games played.
Yeah, and to your point, we were talking with head coach Brody Walworth, and that's a player that he mentioned. He was very happy to get Catone back. Should see big things for Catone, as he was a vital piece to their offense.
Catone, as well as Cunningham, were one of the few players back from last year's squad that went to a semi-final. They won 10 games, but they lost a lot of players to graduation, as U-High will take back over on the touchback. That's a tough thing to do, you know, try to get a lot of new faces, especially after you have a successful season. It's been a rocky road a little bit, but it looked like they started to figure things out the last 3 weeks. Bit of a bump here, but they're a team that's been resilient so far this year.
Yeah, and you put it there perfect, Gavin. If there's one word to describe this U-High team, it is resilient. They, like you said, started off rough, and they're on a 3-game win streak. They're riding a high right now. And although they are down 14 points here, that's not something that's, you know, catastrophic. There's still a lot of time left in this game.
Looking to turn the tides here. Getting some pressure. It's going to be a quarterback run. They will get a couple yards out of this one. Meyer, expecting to see him take the ball quite a bit.
Yeah, great job right there, and great read by Meyer. Keeping the ball, able to go up the A-gap and get himself a few yards.
And you mentioned Charles Anthony earlier. That one was Will Freeman, so he gets it done on both sides of the football. Second down. It's going to be a pass. Meyer, under pressure, steps up, nearly sacked, finally flings it out. Is it caught? It is caught. A last-second throw, just kind of a flip.
Yeah, and a great job right there by Meyer, making something out of nothing, beating the blitz, stepping up in the pocket to avoid pressure, and able to find a receiver downfield for a first down.
So that's what they can do oh so well. First down, throws again. It's Clemenson on the catch. He'll get it for about 5 yards.
And these are the plays that you want to see the Pioneers running. Meyer's a little rough start here, but getting him in the motion, you know, throwing easy checkdowns, easy 5-yard routes, short developing routes to get your QB in a rhythm.
Very good point there, Christian. Really, there's no 14-point play, so you kind of just have to go low and slow, get yourself back into it. They're going to hand it off again. Doesn't get the initial block. Dameron is thrown back. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage and bring up 3rd and 5.
Yeah, just about every Panther in on that tackle, and that's what a coach loves to see. Swarming to the football as a defense is what a defensive coordinator preaches, and a great job right there by the Panthers.
So 3rd and 5. U-High in need of some continued success on offense. Meyer handled a low snap. It's going to be a bit of a screen play, blown up. Dameron nearly stayed on his feet, but he'll stumble forward for maybe a half yard. Now this is kind of decision time. It's still a short field here for Washington, but you need to get something going. Do you maybe think about going for it, Christian?
I would definitely consider it. At least, nonetheless, a hard count, because it is shorter than 4th and 5. Jumping offside would create a first down.
Looks like they will line up. 4th down and 2. Dameron was able to get a little more than what it appeared. Stands fire up here at Babcock. 4, now 3. He's going to run it. Meyer is not going to get it. Thrown backwards, and it's a turnover on downs. Washington defense stifles it once again, and a flag comes in late on the play.
Barring this flag, that was a tremendous push from the defensive line for the Panthers.
The U-High offense is not going anywhere. And it's going to be a flag on the offense, and it is declined. So they will turn it over, and I don't think you mind the attempt, but certainly don't like the result if you're the Pioneers.
Yeah, you know, you need to create some momentum, especially being down 14, and a big 4th down conversion would do that. But also on the opposing side, getting stopped on 4th down like what just happened can kill you and kill the drive.
So we'll flip sides again. It's going to be Garcia. He'll roll out with it. He's going to get a pass off. It is going to be caught. A flag. This one probably will be coming back. He's into the end zone.
Yeah, great play design right there. Unfortunately, like you said, I think they're going to catch the receiver on the outside holding.
It was Caleb Barrick on the reception. Definitely going to be some sort of hold or block in the back, so nonetheless will not be a touchdown.
Ben, you're up.
Referees will discuss it. Seems pretty clear and obvious to me, Christian.
Yeah, I was able to catch that in real time just as he was turning the corner. It looked like the receiver caught his inside hand right next to the referee, and that's not going to fly anytime.
We have 2 fouls, both on the offense.
Listening in here
We have a
to
hold. Over
a
here,
referee.
that penalty is declined. We have offensive pass interference. Over here, that penalty is accepted.
So they'll take the offensive pass interference penalty, which
Penalty against the
notably in
Panthers
high
moves the ball
school,
back to their own 49
with the
yard
holding,
line.
it would have just been 10 yards from the spot of the foul. So this now actually sets them back 10 yards from the original line of scrimmage. So good chance here for U-High to capitalize. We'll see if Washington can weather the storm. Freeman up the gut, gets a few yards, but
44, Will Freeman
one of his
carries
shorter
for the
runs of the
Panthers.
evening.
Stopped by
Yeah,
11,
Freeman able to
Meyer.
break through initial contact and keep his legs turning, but a good job right there by the Pioneers, rallying to the football,
Second
making
and
sure
21,
Freeman doesn't have an
Washington.
opportunity to break one loose.
Panthers not wasting a lot of time. They're feeling a rhythm right now. 2nd and 21. Garcia airs it out, goes over. Jones tries to break through, but a nice ankle tackle.
Pass complete by the Panthers, 9 Garcia to 1 Jones.
Looked like that was Catone getting in on the stop, so enjoying having him back so far. Makes a nice tackle.
Yeah, talk about having him back on the offensive side of the ball. Defensive side of the ball, he's just as efficient right there, hanging on to the ankle of Jones and, you know, preventing a gain for even more.
3rd and long, Washington.
Third down for the Panthers, 3rd and 17, so chance for U-High to try and come up with a stop. It's going to be Garcia, rolls out near side, throws it out over the head, nearly a spectacular catch by Jones. It was tipped and caught out of bounds by James Johnson,
Complete.
but it'll be a stop and a punt, so
Receiver was out of bounds.
little victory there for the Pioneers.
Absolutely, the Pioneers able to bring up a 4th down and a 3rd down stop right there. On that 3rd down, you saw the Pioneers secondary communicating with each other, saying we got to bump over to the left. They almost seemed like they knew what the play was coming, as there was a speed out to the right.
So we'll see the first Panther punt of the night, 5 minutes to go. As this one's going to take a checkup and going to go out of bounds just short of the 10-yard line. So nice punt there from the Panthers, and U-High back on offense. What are you looking for this time, Christian?
Inside the 15.
Well, the Pioneers had a better second drive right there. They were able to establish somewhat of a run game. So if I'm the Pioneers, I'm looking to establish the run game just so I can be more effective in the passing game and keep this team on their toes.
We'll see if they can implement that here on their first down play.
Jalen, you're up. Ben, your replay.
Meyer moves things around. It's going to be Cade Cunningham now into the backfield. He's rushed the ball a few times this season. Meyer going to step up to pass. He is going to be thrown down for a sack.
Quarterback is brought down for a sack on
And
the
a big play there. Washington getting in, and it'll be a loss of about 6.
Yeah, really an all-around sack right there as Washington was creating pressure from the left side and the right side. And you see Meyer trying to step up the pocket, nowhere to go, taken down in the backfield.
Looked like 92, Camden Visconti in on the sack.
Ben, you're up. Ben, you're up.
It'll be officially 2nd and 14. Meyer rolls out, runs and is able to connect with Catone around the original line of scrimmage. But so far, Washington doing exactly what Todd Stevens told me earlier this week. They need to make the quarterback uncomfortable.
Yeah, and that's what they've done already, an interception on the day. And you see right there, even a 5-yard curl route, a little bit overthrown. Catone made us a great catch and able to haul it in.
Third down and 9. It's going to be trips out to the near side. Meyer is going to look to air it out. He's brought down once again, another sack for the Panthers.
And just a great job defensively, forcing Myers to make a play in the pocket. Just like that second down, Meyer tries to step up and create something out of nothing, and he's taken down once again.
So almost certainly, U-High is going to have to get rid of this football with a punt. As A.J. Jones back deep to receive. Meyer serves as the punter. He does get this one away. About like the last, and it's fair caught just beyond the 40-yard line.
Yeah, that was a good punt right there by Myers, but unfortunately back in their own field position, just barely able to get it to the 43-yard line.
So they'll be back on the U-High defense to try and create something of their own. They've been a team that's forced just over, on average, a turnover per game. So they definitely have done that quite a bit. And they're no stranger to playing really good teams. They play in the Central State 8 Conference. Familiar teams, Chatham, Glenwood, Rochester, both two of the best in the state. It's a keeper by Garcia. He gets through. There's a flag on the play. It might be coming back, but Garcia into the end zone. We'll see if this will stand, as for now it's a touchdown. But I think it's coming back.
Yeah, Garcia with a great run right there, but I think that's going to go on A.J. Jones. Flaring his hands in the air, looking at the referee. They're going to get him for a hold, most likely.
We have holding on the offense.
Costly penalty that would have been a touchdown for Noah Garcia, so put him back right around where they started at.
Yeah, unfortunately just wipes away what would have been a touchdown, like you said, and a great play right there by Garcia on a quarterback keeper.
Here's Garcia once again on a keeper, makes a cut back, cuts back towards the sideline. He's heading down. Will he make it? Just short of the sticks. Rinse and repeat for Washington. Garcia wanted those yardage stats. One of the touchdown falls just short.
Yeah, I mean, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Nearly identical play call right there. Just reverse side of the field, and Garcia able to take advantage using his legs down at the 1-yard line.
So this is prime territory, most likely for Will Freeman. It looked like, of note, Evan Deasy is out for tonight's game. He was not in full uniform, in street clothes. As we're going to get a stoppage in play here. Looked like U-High wasn't totally set up.
For the next play, timeout, Washington. Timeout, Washington.
Well, we got a moment. You know, talk about the history of both of these teams. Of course, most of our viewers are probably Central Illinois based, so very familiar with the Panthers. Maybe not as familiar with the Pioneers, but look at the overall history of both of these teams. Tons and tons of just special teams, special seasons. Washington won a state championship 40 years ago this year, back in 1985. And I believe if I get my stats correct here, since that last state championship in 1985, they have made the playoffs 34 seasons out of 40 years, and one of those years was the COVID season. There was no playoff held, so they're 34 for 39. Panthers are just a special program.
Yeah, and they've been to 18 straight playoff appearances as well.
It's going to be a carry up the middle, and they're going to call it in. Touchdown, Panthers. Add another one to the board, the third of the first quarter. And the Panthers are rolling.
And I'm going to take that replay from
Number
you here in just a
44,
second.
Will Freeman with the touchdown run. Score now, Washington 20.
Take a look at the replay, just able to dive into the end zone, just nearly get enough. Great play design right there from the Panthers. Go-to guy, and at the 2-yard line, you already know who it's going to.
It'll be Devin Miller back out for the PAT. And it is good, 21-zip. As Will Freeman, just 4 carries, and you get a look at his second touchdown of the night. So he's half of his carries have been touchdowns so far, Christian. 71 total yards. The averages are going insane tonight.
Yeah, what a stat that was. Half of his carries being touchdowns. I mean, 20 touchdowns on the season. Is there anyone that can stop Freeman?
So far, not so much. You look at Will Freeman right there for the season. Mentioned it earlier, but tremendous regular season. And I think the biggest speaking point to those stats is that's pretty good, but he also didn't play complete 4-quarter games in quite a few games. They had several runaways where they would put some of the second, third string guys in to give Freeman a break. So imagine if he played complete games through 9 weeks of the season, what his stats could have been.
Yeah, I mean, it's a scary thought to have right there, and a what if, a huge what if. As you said, Washington able to put these games away early, not able to play in the 4th quarter, maybe sometimes even the 3rd quarter. Freeman taking advantage of what he's been given, and he's done a tremendous job for this Panthers team.
We talked a lot with Todd Stevens at the beginning of the season, and he just talked so much about how Will Freeman worked on himself constantly in the weight room, working on the physical aspect of the game, but he said he always knew he was a smart player, a player with great intangibles. As U-High will get the ball back. And a ton of multi-sport athletes out here on both sides. Quite a few wrestlers, a lot of baseball players. Christian, I don't know if you were a multi-sport athlete. I know you played football, but definitely something to play in more than one sport. Definitely keeps you conditioned, gives you some other skills to help you on the football field.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling's a huge thing, too, for football players. All my coaches wanted everybody to be a wrestler because, especially on the defensive side of the ball, in specific linebackers and corners, you're able to maneuver your body in a way to get off of blocks and be able to create, those big tackles and fly to the ball. So being a 2-sport athlete certainly helps in every aspect of your game.
It's a good thing to see. Lots of great athletes playing multiple sports in Central Illinois these days. Time winds down on the play clock. U-High's got to get it off. 1 second. Just get it off. It's a botch snap. Myers going to have to make something out of nothing. He's going to heave it down the field. Nearly another interception. As he made the most of a botched snap right there. Get another look at it.
Pioneers, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, it looks like Myers just wasn't really ready, didn't have a sense of the play clock. Good on Myers, though, able to roll out and throw that ball away and, stop the bleeding.
That's a great way to put it. Could have been disaster to open this drive. U-High desperately needed some positive offense. Another high snap. Meyer handles that one. It's near the sideline, incomplete. As so far the offensive line not doing a lot for the Pioneers. Quite a few seniors, but once again, they're not quite as experienced as what they had last year. They lost a lot of players from that 10-3 semifinal team. As you get a look just out of bounds. Not able to complete it. Another botch snap. This time it could be real disaster. He's going to throw it away. Throws it out of bounds. Receiver was in the area, so no intentional grounding, but 3 straight bad snaps. Once again, killing things for the Pioneers offense.
Yeah, and if you're head coach Brody Walworth, that is just certainly what you do not want to see. Your center, Frank Swope, and QB Griffin Meyer just not on the same page. That's 3 in a row snaps over the head, and that's just a, drive killer right there.
Drive killer is something no coach wants to hear unless you're on the other side of it. This one's going to be punted onto the other side of midfield. It's going to get a U-high bounce around the 39-yard line, so finally pushes the Panthers to the other side of the field. Really haven't been over there for too long. To our left, getting a little bit lonely, perhaps.
Yeah, funny enough, this is Washington's worst field position of the day, and
Yeah.
they're already sitting almost at the 40-yard line.
It is almost bizarre to say that, but that's just the type of team Washington is. And Washington with a real shot this season. Of course, you come in as the favorites, the 1 seed. You got to play your game, cannot take anything lightly. But they've dropped down from 6A down to 5A with some enrollment changes in the IHSA this season. They kind of did a reshuffle on things. They find themselves down a class, a very real shot to potentially hoist their first state trophy in 40 years. First down goes back to Freeman and just continues to fight through the defense. More positive yardage for him.
Yeah, Freeman right there with a great display of patience, able to let his blocks develop up front and put his foot in the dirt, able to turn up and gain a 9 yards right there, put his team in a second and manageable.
Jalen for a game, Ben for replay.
2nd and 1. Freeman back in the backfield. It's going to be Garcia to pass this time. He's under a little bit of pressure. He will get rid of it. He finds A.J. Jones once again. He pushes off a tackle, gets a block, steps through, and he'll finally be brought out of bounds. A.J. Jones, he's letting him have it tonight.
Yeah, Jones has been so great after the catch. We talked about that earlier. You see here, Jones able to make a man miss, stiff arm another, and able to turn the sideline for another gain of 5 yards right there.
And probably the biggest thing for normal U-High's defense, not terrible coverage, but it's just been the lack of tackling, a lot of yards after catch. You kind of got to bring down guys the first time.
Yeah, you have to control the controllables, and that is tackling the players on the first opportunity you get.
Noah Garcia fooled the entire defense. Garcia, touchdown, Panthers.
Well, we saw it earlier. Garcia had a touchdown erased from him. On a second try, Garcia got down to the 2-yard line. Now Garcia finally able to finish the job.
Get a good look at it right there. The entire defense pulled towards Will Freeman for very good reason. But that's what you got when you got a QB that's rushed for over 500 yards this season. And now throwing tonight's stats, he's over 600 yards.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what happens. Like you said, dual threat quarterback, it keeps your team on their toes, especially when you have a back as good as Freeman.
Well executed, not even out of the first quarter, and 4 Washington touchdowns, another good extra point, 28-0 in favor of the home Panthers. Get an update on the stats. Garcia and Freeman in a race for rushing yards tonight. Will Freeman, 5 carries, 80 yards. Noah Garcia, 2 carries, 73 yards. So they're neck and neck. We're talking about overall yardage, though. A.J. Jones, 3 receptions, 66 yards. So it's been a 3-man show so far, but they're getting the job done. And like you said earlier, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I mean, these guys might having a little friendly competition between Freeman and Garcia, battling who's going to finish with more rushing yards on the day.
This might be a good opportunity, too, depending on how things continue to go. Perhaps in the late stages of the game, you get a couple opportunities for some younger guys. We've seen that a number of times. Washington constantly producing that next man up. Some juniors, some sophomores getting in there. So maybe get a chance to look at the future of Panther football, depending on how the rest of this one shakes out. But again, U-High just needs to find a start on offense. Really yet to find that spark. Kind of got pushed back early on with the turnover. This one will be fielded at the goal line. Going to try and take a return in. Breaks through a couple of tackles through the first wave. And finally brought down as it's Schilf. gets through, and it'll be U-High football.
Yeah, and that's the spark the Pioneers might have need. You know, Schliff had an opportunity to go down. He was able to break a couple tackles and gain a few more yards for the Pioneers and set them up with some manageable field position.
Usually, I mean, good. Well, it's my fault for taking him. I mean, that's not.
Got an injured U-High player down on the field.
In general, we get an injury.
Might have caught another player inadvertently. A lot of bodies moving on a kickoff. U-High players take a knee. Of course, certainly not the way you want to, have your season end in the playoffs. Injury is always a very scary thing to deal with, but as they're going to help him up. Looks to be trying to get an official number on that one. Looks like 85, Braden Bozarth, as he's one of their starting receivers. Goes down with a leg injury, hopefully not too serious for Bozarth. We'll get another look, though, at the last touchdown, Noah Garcia. They get no shot. I mean, there just was nobody there in front of him. One of the easier touchdowns he's probably ever going to score.
Yeah, Garcia, if he wanted to, could have walked into the end zone from the 5-yard line. Just a beautiful job by the offensive line and Freeman distracting majority of the defense, and Garcia able to pull it.
So Bozarth will be helped off the field. Again, we hope everything is good with him. Certainly we'll keep an eye out and see if he's able to get back into this game, if it's something manageable or if his night might be over. But he's helped off. And now U-High will try to avenge him, if you will. We'll have to go into the depth a little bit. It'll still be Griffin Meyer out there. Wondering if maybe we'd see Owen Kirby again, who started vast majority of the season at quarterback. Sticking with Meyer. Gets a good snap this time. Immediately brought down. The blitz coming in, and the Panthers with another sack.
Yeah, Josh Hofer on the initial contact right there. Freeman actually able to secure the quarterback in the backfield, and this defense for the Panthers has been unstoppable. They are breaking through these blocks with basically untouched and able to do whatever they want against this U-High's offensive line.
And this is Central Illinois bias aside, of course, the teams we have in our coverage area, but I really feel like the Panthers' defense might be one of the best in the state. I mean, I'm sure there are many great defenses out there that obviously we aren't covering on a regular basis as we head to the end of the first quarter, but I got to think this Panther defense has got to stack among some of the top in the state.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a Panthers defense that's only allowing just under 11 points per game. That is, if you can do that, it doesn't matter how good your offense is, you're going to be in games, you're going to win majority of your games when your defense is that great.
Not to mention outright Mid-Illini Conference champions. That's a conference full of playoff teams. 5 of the 8 teams in the conference made the playoffs. Well, we got a break here at the end of the first quarter. I'd like to let you know, you could be having your advertisement right here, right on this screen. We've got lots of playoff games coming up. We've got basketball season approaching. We'd love to hear from you. You can email sales@clutchsportsil.com for more details. You can help promote your brand, your service, and at the same time, you're also helping support coverage of local high school athletics. The only reason we're able to continue to do these broadcasts live and for free is because of the support of the great businesses and people in our community. And then you can also help support us by subscribing to CSM Overtime. You can help yourself by getting all the best preps coverage in Central Illinois. Joey Wright, our producer, how many coverage schools do we have in our area? 38 coverage schools, so pretty good chance if you're between Peoria and the Twin Cities or somewhere in between, You'll have coverage on there. QR code on the screen. We've got lots of winter sports coming up, but of course, the final 4 weeks of football, lots of coverage for that as well. Volleyball playoffs in full effect. Washington upsetting Limestone in the volleyball regionals earlier this week. It's been a good week for the Panthers. Meyer throws it to Cunningham, and it is a catch.
Yeah, great route right there by Cunningham. You saw Meyer pump fake once or twice, just waiting for Cunningham able to sit down in his zone. Those two on the right and same page right there, able to complete a big pickup.
You got to think both these guys are seniors. You got to leave it all out on the field. They're playing 4 quarters. Certainly not going to take anything lightly. As a bit of a jump, no call. U-High incensed with no offsides call. As play clock running down. Meyer, 2, now 1. And he just gets it off. No, they blow it dead. Brody Walworth is incensed and might have a bit of a case there. It was pretty close, but it looks like the defender might have jumped.
Yeah, I mean, from up here, it definitely looked like the defender was offsides for a minute right there. And to the ref's point, you can't really call that unless the ball is snapped right away or there is contact made. Unfortunate for the Pioneers right there, as they, instead of accepting the penalty, a penalty goes against them for a delay of game.
Was a close call there. Brody Walworth not thrilled about it, but he'll get his team back on the right track. Moving on to the next play. 3rd down and 7 now. Meyer rolls out. Lots of pressure coming in. He's going to have to throw on the run. Deep throw, and it's out of bounds. Cunningham was double covered. And again, lots of throws on the run for Meyer, which is a very tough thing to do. There's not many people in the world that can throw accurately on the run.
Yeah, and that comes from the pressure on the outside. Charlie Anthony, the blitzing linebacker off the edge, able to get home on Meyer and force Meyer into a difficult situation. Like you said, it's not easy to make throws with pressure in your face, and it's certainly not easy to make throws on the run with somebody screaming at you.
4th down, it looks like potentially U-High might go for it. Once again, clock winding down on the play clock. They will just get it off. They are going to go for it. Going to air it out. Cunningham deep down the field, just out of his reach. And incomplete. Back to the Panthers.
Yeah, just an unfortunate opportunity right there, as Meyer did have Cunningham, and it was just out of his reach. As we take another look at it right here, Cunningham had a chance at it. Just great coverage right there by James Johnson, and able to force a turnover on downs. Brings up 1st down for the Panthers in tremendous field position.
Yeah, that's been kind of the theme all night long. It's just good field position, making the most of their opportunities, and we're barely into the 2nd quarter. We've already seen 4 touchdowns. The Panthers also have a punt that will get lost in time somewhere in this 1st half. It's going to be Garcia. He's going to launch it this time. Goes towards the end zone and overthrows his man, A.J. Jones. Right idea, but just a little bit overthrown.
Yeah, like you said, Gavin, just a little bit overthrown. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication between Jones and Chadwick right there, as they almost ran into each other.
Second down. It's Garcia's 2nd incompletion of the day. Doesn't pass a lot, not going to pass a significant amount of times, just 81 attempts on the whole season, so not a ton there. Pitches it over, staying on his feet, still making something out of it. Again, U-High not able to bring down on first contact, and more positive yardage for the Panthers.
I mean, what a luxury it is to have a running back like Freeman. On this speed option, you see Freeman should be taken in the backfield, able to stay on his feet and gain 5 or 6 yards right there and put his team in a 3rd and manageable.
3rd down. Once again, a handoff. And this one's finally wrapped up. U-High finally able to get on the first contact as Hayden Washam with the stop.
Yeah, great job right there by Washam. Like you said, able to finally bring down on initial contact. And it brings up a 4th down for the Panthers, something they have not seen much. They are in field goal range, but I think they are electing to, yeah, they're going to take the field goal.
And for most high school teams, don't have a kicker that, can make outside of a PAT range. But Washington has the luxury of a kicker that can kick it pretty deep. He's hitting 40, 45-yard field goals with ease. Miller, kick. It's a low-line drive kick, but it is good enough. 3 more points on the board. And 31-0 will be the score.
Yeah, talk about how great of an option it is to have a kicker like Miller. Miller not only able to create these big field goals for the Panthers, he's also able to boot the ball out on on kickoffs and create touchbacks. That is very nice to have, as it eliminates a return factor, as he can just boot the ball across the end zone.
Central Illinois fans will know also well that, we see a lot of the pooch kicks and things on the kickoffs just to kind of maybe limit a potential return, but usually teams then will set up around the 30 or 40-yard line, maybe potentially still get a bit of a return. Yeah, but the Panthers, they kick it way deep. Kind of forces the team to make a decision, Do we want to return it? You're right at the goal line. Do you want to return it? Do you want to let it maybe bounce for a touchback? It's something that not a lot of teams typically have to face.
Yeah, and the Pioneers have been faced with that all game. We've seen majority of the kicks go out the end zone, but there's also some that make it just to the goal line that are returnable. They do return, and, sometimes they have to face the reality that they only bring the ball out to the 20, 25-yard line.
It'll be Miller right back out to kick it away. And Miller sends it off. It's going to be a little bit more of a low-line drive compared to what we've seen. It's been muffed, and it's going to get blown up on the muffed bounce. Unable to be picked up by Blake Schilf.
Yeah, just while we were talking about kicking it out of the end zone, a little pooch kick right there. But it does work in the Panthers' favor. A little bit of a muff recovery right there, and the Panthers able to swarm to the football and take them down at the 10-yard line. So 90 yards the Pioneers need to drive.
And maybe just caught him off guard just like it caught me off guard. I was fully expecting a kick right out of the back of the end zone after all that build-up, and then kicks a low-line driver. Just keeping them on their toes, keeping us honest. As Meyer sets back up, he's going to throw once again, constantly under pressure, and another sack. Once again getting in there, Josh Hofer.
Yeah, Hofer's been a wrecking with this whole game, and it starts up front before pre-snap. You see the defensive line for the Panthers make that shift, and it keeps the Pioneers guessing, having to point out, oh, now I have this responsibility rather than that, and you see Hofer able to take advantage of that.
So right up on the goal line, this is territory for maybe the Panther defense to get on the scoring action. They're going to pitch it off. Dameron will get some positive yardage. Still going. And nearly back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, great effort right there by Dameron, able to beat the foot race out and give his offense some breathing room. As you take another look at it right here, Dameron able to stay on his feet and tumble forward for a gain of 4 or 5 and leaves his offense with some breathing room to operate.
3rd and 11. Still quite a bit of yardage to go. Meyer rolls out. Opposite way throw. Cunningham gets it. He's hit hard out of bounds. He'll be short of the sticks by just a couple of yards.
Yeah, once again right there, we see Meyer just, forced to his left, having to make a play out of, under pressure. And, Cunningham's right there, and that's been his guy all game. But unfortunate is Meyer just under heavy pressure.
Yeah, certainly uncomfortable, and Will Freeman in on a bone-jarring hit out of bounds. So Freeman is a nightmare for teams on both sides of the football. As it's going to be 4th and short. Looks like it might be a punt. It is a punt. Nobody was back to return. And it checks up just over midfield. So back to the Panther offense. 7 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Christian is a former high school football player not all that long ago. What's it like to play in these environments? I'm sure you've been both at home and on the road in those environments. Let's start from the road perspective. What's it like to take a bus trip on the road, knowing your season's kind of in the balance? How does that feel as a player?
Personally, I love the bus trips. I love being on the bus with, my teammates, some of my closest friends. It's always a great atmosphere. It takes me back when I was a junior. My school played Manuka in the first round of playoffs, and for us, that was a 2-hour bus ride. And the whole time we were having a blast, and it was honestly a lot of fun.
And there's some movement. Looks like U-High might have created a turnover on a fumble, and it looks like they did. So first big positive play of the night as we get another look at it. Not to interrupt your thoughts, Christian, but big play here for the Pioneers. Lost it, botched it, and Pioneers recover.
Yeah, it looks like the snap was just a little bit to the right, and Garcia had a hand on it. Freeman thought it was his responsibility to catch it, just deflected, and it goes in favor of the Pioneers.
So their first favorable field position of the night. Meyer under pressure. He throws it towards the sideline, incomplete.
Pass attempt by the Pioneers falls incomplete.
Yeah, that was great coverage on the Panthers side of the ball right there. Another scramble drill right there, and the Panthers able to stick to their man and the receiver, force an incomplete pass.
And it's a grim outlook so far for the Pioneers, but obviously just putting some points on the board would be a good place to start. Get a little bit of a victory before halftime. Again, both teams got to play through 4 quarters. As they get some positive yardage, just short of the sticks. Meyer with the keeper.
And that has been one of the areas that the Pioneers have been successful on today. Using their quarterback as a dual threat. We talked about it earlier. Myers is, a lot of trouble when he has the ball in his hands and able to run with it, and right there able to gain positive yardage and set up a 3rd and manageable for his team.
Meyer is going to throw it this time near side, hooks up with Cunningham. He tries to make a move, but he's brought out of bounds, and he's going to have enough for a first down. So they move the sticks on a 3rd down conversion. Slowly but surely, a little bit of momentum heading to U-High's favor.
Yeah, great job right there by Cunningham. At first, you see him make a move. It's like, no, just go forward, pick up the first down, and he's able to pick it up and, create new life for the U-High.
Yeah, probably head coach Brody Walworth held his breath there for a second, knew they needed just a couple of yards. But that's what a star receiver can do. Made it happen. There's Cunningham in motion. Another high snap, and this one's bobbled and botched. Who's going to come up with it? Dameron for U-High will recover. Nearly a disaster.
U-High able to avoid disaster. Here's another look at it. Just like you said, Gavin, another high snap. Meyer unable to grab it. There's Dameron able to scoop it up and hold on to it.
And Todd Stevens mentioning that he wanted to make the U-High quarterback uncomfortable. I think in kind of a roundabout sort of way, they've made the center uncomfortable because clearly he's really focused on getting that ball out quickly to make his block, that it's kind of forsaking the quality of the snaps. It's going to be a screen pass as Dameron is brought down immediately. It'll be a 3rd and a mile at this point.
Yeah, Freeman in on the tackle, but how do you draw an aggressive defensive line and, draw up a play against them? And it's a screen play. The Panthers just so great defensively. The linebackers able to sniff it out. And once again, we're calling his name, Will Freeman, on the defensive side of the ball, getting it done.
Sometimes it almost feels like there's more than 11 orange jerseys out there because there's just somebody there all the time. Another high snap. Meyer able to get this one under pressure. Meyer throws it to no man's land, and it's picked off. Second pick of the day for the Panthers, and it's A.J. Jones once again.
Yeah, Jones just having a tremendous game. That one was lucky as it fell right to him. But, you know, another high snap and Meyer having to roll left. It looked like the intended target was Chenzo Cotno and just, like, fell down in his route. Jones at the right place in the right time.
Probably wouldn't have changed a whole lot for U-High, assuming they would have gone for it on 4th down. So not necessarily the end of the world, but clearly they wanted to do more with that drive. They had a little something going. They were able to force a turnover and then get back on a 1st down. But now right back to Washington. Garcia, he's pressured this time, somehow gets out of it. There were 3 white jerseys right there. Cuts up the sideline, still going. And he's finally brought down way past midfield. I mean, it's almost like Houdini. How did he get out of it?
Yeah, right. Just a heartbreaker right there. There's a sea of white ready to tackle. Garcia just working magic, able to create something out of nothing. We've seen him do that all day. And he's able to get past the 50-yard line, now in enemy territory.
And one thing that I really never noticed too much watching football until I started broadcasting was those team blocks. Something Washington has done a tremendous job with tonight. Everybody's blocking. Even after the play is developing, everybody's finding a man to block. Here is Garcia. He will be brought down on a shorter run than we've seen him have tonight.
Yeah, that's Meyer in on the tackle. We've seen a lot of players go both ways, and now the QB plays linebacker for the Pioneers, able to, you know, take him down on first contact. Great tackle right there by Meyer.
Meyer was a linebacker to start the year. Again, he's a senior. That was his natural position, then got thrown the quarterback mid-season. Freeman shifts through once again for a 1st down.
Will Freeman carries for the Panthers.
Freeman's so shifty and great on his feet. There's been multiple times today that we saw he's able to keep his balance and keep treading forward for a 1st down, just like that.
Quite a few seniors on this U-High defense. We'll see if they can step up. This time it's going to be Kamar Mack. Mack makes a couple cuts in and out, and he gets a 1st down. So starting to see a couple of reserves come in. Kamar Mack, a very talented junior that gets his 1st carry of the night, and you see just how fast he is.
Boy, is this scary for anybody in the mid-Illini. You get done with, you know, Will Freeman, and now you have to face Kamari Mack. Mack right there, just a tremendous job breaking tackles and bouncing to the outside.
They will go back up the middle. And there's really no quick tackles when Will Freeman is running against you. The pile's going to move for at least a few seconds. It's like he could carry a whole army on his back.
Yeah, and the offensive line, to that credit as well, keeping their feet turning. You know, Freeman obviously keeping his feet turning, but the offensive line able to create push.
So Washington right down in the red zone once again. It's a throw, this time caught and brought down.
Pass complete by the Panthers.
Yeah, great tackle right there by Catone. We've called his name a lot for this U-High Pioneers team, offensively and defensively, and a tremendous job right there bringing him down.
Last catch was Caden Chadwick, senior receiver. Gets his 1st catch of the evening. As we're nearing the end of the 1st half, it's been all Washington, 31-0. They're in no hurry.
Yeah, and you have to wonder if they're just trying to milk this clock out, take it to halftime.
They're looking to take one more score into the half. Nearing a minute left to go. Garcia on the keeper. He cuts back up. He's going to cut in to the end zone. Another touchdown for Washington.
Well, I guess they wanted to score right away. Still a minute left on the clock, but you'll take a touchdown when you can get them. And for Washington, they've gotten lots of them on the day. Garcia able just to follow his lead blockers. Great push by the offensive line and able to put his foot in and where he sees a gap, spinning forward, and he's got himself a second touchdown on the day.
And no Garcia. For a sophomore in high school, he's a big body. 6'1", 200 pounds. Very, very strong. So he's not easy to bring down. I'm a very scary dual threat quarterback. High arcing kick, and it is good. Devin Miller has been perfect tonight. Another PAT, also has a field goal on the evening. 38-0. Just dominance. I don't think there's any other way to describe it, Christian.
Yeah, pure dominance, and that's what head coach Todd Stevens was telling us. He wants to, you can't hang around with these kind of teams. You want to be able to put your foot on the gas and beat them. Get ahead early and stay ahead early, and that's what Washington has done. They have not looked back since their first touchdown 1 minute in the game.
Did not get complacent. It was a fantastic season for the Panthers. Once in a while, you see a team maybe get a little complacent coming into a first-round matchup, 1 versus 16. That was not the case here so far for the Panthers. They've been locked in from the first kick. Again, looking to repeat what they did 40 years ago, 1985 state champions. They've been in the playoffs a lot. They've made some semifinals. Funny enough, last time the Panthers were in Class 5A, the last season they did that, they made the state semifinal. They unfortunately lost to local foe Dunlap in that season, but 5A has treated them well in past years. They're hoping it does so once again. Dameron's in motion. It's going to be a direct snap. Meyer is not going to go much of anywhere. Quarterback keeper not working out.
And once again, Josh Hofer, creating first contact. He's been living in the Pioneers' backfield all game. And right there, able to bring down for a 1-yard loss once again. He's had himself quite the evening. They're going to let time roll. Maybe one more play for the fun of it. Washington gets the ball at the start of the next half, so they're just going to lick their wounds, it looks like, and go to the halftime locker room. Finishes it off with a run. No gain, and that's where we'll leave the first half. Washington, they are taking care of business. As you get a look at the scoreboard, 38-0 into the first half of play. Top to bottom dominance, the run game, the pass game, the defense. Really hardly any shortcomings from that first half. You got to be very pleased if you're Todd Stevens. And I'm sure Todd Stevens is absolutely that. Every level of football is clicking on full display right here, and it really starts up front in the trenches. Washington's offensive line is creating a lot of push, able to get Freeman these good opportunities. Same with Garcia. On the opposing side of the ball, this Washington defensive line has been wreaking havoc all game, able to create pressure for Myers and forcing, tough throws. There's been 2 interceptions on the day, so it's really everybody playing complementary football, and it starts in the trenches.
Very, very good point. It's just happening in all 3 phases. I think that's a term you hear a lot today in the modern game of football, getting all 3 phases done. Offense, defense, and special teams. They're certainly winning it all. Looking at some stats from the first half. First look at the U-High stats. 8 of 18 for Griffin Meyer, the quarterback, 47 yards. He threw 2 interceptions. His main target was Cade Cunningham, unsurprisingly. 4 receptions for 34 yards. He was able to find Catone and Clemenson, as well as Dameron a couple of times for short gainers. The rushing game has not been too much to the favor of the Pioneers. Dameron, 5 carries for 13 yards, and Griffin Meyer, 8 carries, minus 16. Those also count towards the sacks. So it's been just not a lot going on. Griffin Meyer has not had a lot of help from his offensive line. A lot of high snaps, probably something that they want to clean up at halftime.
Yeah, absolutely. You cannot have those mental mistakes, and it's not even mental, it's affecting the game with those high snaps. We saw a whole drive get shut down off of 3 snaps. They were too high for Myers, and he had to, work with what he had. So if I'm Coach Brody Walworth, I'm telling our team we have to fix these mental errors. We cannot shoot ourselves in the foot, and like I was saying, control the controllables, and that's something you have to do well in order to put yourself in a position to win this football game.
Very good points. And then you look on the other side, stats for the Washington Panthers. Quite a bit going on. Noah Garcia, 4 of 6 in the air, 69 yards and 1 touchdown, so very efficient in that department. His favorite target is A.J. Jones, 3 receptions, 66 yards and a touchdown. A.J. Jones also has 2 interceptions, so he's a stat sheet stuffer tonight. Caden Chadwick, 1 reception for 3 yards. And then on the rushing end, again, there's that friendly competition going on. Will Freeman, 9 carries, 97 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Noah Garcia now surpassing that amount. 5 carries, 111 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Kamar Mack, 1 carry, 17 yards on the day. A grand total, 225 yards of just rushing offense, 69 yards of passing offense. So a little under 300 yards of offense in the first half alone. I mean, that is something crazy. Yeah,
I'll tell you, that is quite the recipe for success. 220 rushing yards in the first half. That's what people get, in a full game. And Washington able to put it up in the first half. It's really just impressive how well the Panthers have been able to hold and have their way against this Pioneers team.
It's been very impressive. Get a look there at the playoff game going on CIProud.com over in Dunlap. That one's at halftime. It's 28-14 in favor of the Eagles. That's a Mid-Illini playoff game going on. We don't see that happen too often, as this was a repeat of a game that went down to overtime earlier this season. The Eagles came out victorious in Pekin. Pekin has since lost a couple players to injuries and things, faced a couple of adversities, but the Eagles have been on a roll, and they lead by 2 scores. That's a really intriguing game because you never know what might happen with these 2 teams, but this is a different class, 6A. So the Mid-Illini could be representing in a couple different state classes, and again, just shows just how deep this conference has been all season long. As you get a live look there now at the Washington Band as they perform here at halftime. We mentioned that game over on CIProud.com. How about some other scores around the area? Last update in the second quarter, Peoria, Notre Dame, and Marengo are tied at 21, so that's a very even-looking game in the Central Illinois area. A lot of games are going to be happening tomorrow, though, including one here on ClutchSportsIsle.com, as Metamora will be in action, along with a number of other teams across Central Illinois. Some games that catch my eye, Hayworth and Princeville. That's a 7-2 versus 7-2 matchup in the small school realm. A couple of really fun teams. How about from the Twin Cities? Normal Community taking on Mundelein Carmel on the road. So that's a big school. You may know a thing or two about Carmel up near the Chicagoland area. Farmington is hosting Pearl City Eastland. They are the top seed in their class. Anawan Weathersfield hosts Stark County. Back down to the Twin Cities, Normal West, 7-2. Good season for the Wildcats. They will host Thornwood tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Morton hosts Thornton Fractional North in Morton tomorrow. Rushville Industry hosting Dwight. Bloomington is hosting Mascoutah. Bloomington was a common opponent with Normal U High. They played a very close football game earlier this season. El Paso Gridley, the undefeated Titans, taking on Chicago Marshall. Peoria High, they'll take on MacArthur, another common opponent to Normal U High, and brought up a couple teams that are also in Class 5A. Peoria High and Morton could potentially at some point cross paths with either one of these teams, both playing in 5A. Christian, I know we've been covering all sorts of teams, but again, we mentioned we definitely have a couple Central Illinois teams that maybe could make it down to Redbird territory in Bloomington Normal for the state championship. Always a fun time to do so, but who do you think maybe has one of the better shots to do that, in your opinion?
Well, I think we're looking right at them, this Washington team. I mean, they have been tremendous all year long. 8-game win streak, the only loss becoming in their first game of the season. They are undefeated at home. They really have been playing complete complementary football. From the defensive side of the ball all the way to the offensive side of the ball, everything they've done has been terrific, and they are putting it on full display today.
Very good point. I think that they definitely are firmly in that conversation. But Peoria High will look to be in the conversation as well, just like Morton wants to be in that conversation. And Peoria High and Morton are in the same section of the bracket, so if both teams win tomorrow, that would set up a game next week for the Lions and the Potters. So not to turn our focus away from this one, but could be some good future games coming up on ClutchSportsIsle.com, depending on where those games fall at. Looking at a few other games happening on Saturday. Deer Creek Mackinac, as they'll head up north in the Chicagoland area for their first round. Olympia hosts Greenville. Metamora, as we mentioned, will be on ClutchSportsIsle.com tomorrow against South Shore. As the Redbirds in Class 4A this season looking to maybe make some noise. And last but not least, Tri-Valley will head to Richards. That's a pair of 7-2 teams going at it. So lots of good games to watch. Again, you can catch up with all that on ClutchSportsIsle.com. Overtime. Got all the coverage, nightly roundups, scores, stats we're able to get our hands on. So no better time to subscribe than right now. Again, as we mentioned earlier, there's volleyball postseason going on. Soccer postseason. It's been a very good postseason for the Washington Panthers. They're still continuing in both volleyball, soccer, and now football. And I believe they also had some golfers go to the state competition. I mean, all around, probably no better time to be a Panther than right now. As we're here at halftime, 6 minutes or so to go at the half. Alongside Christian Courtney, it's Gavin Russell on the call. Christian, we were talking earlier, I know we kind of got interrupted by a turnover. We were talking about your experience playing in these playoff games. You mentioned playing in those road games, the fun times you had on the bus ride. Maybe important to mention you played in Palatine High School up north. For viewers maybe know where Palatine is, but how about those home games? What's it like to play in a home environment in front of your fans, your peers, your students in a playoff game?
Honestly, it's very special, and being here at Washington kind of reminds me of back home. You know, Palatine, 8A, Class 8A team and program, they have a lot of fans that travel to everywhere. And in Washington, they have so many fans here, and it's just a great atmosphere. So playing at home was always a blast and something I always enjoyed doing, especially in front of my family and friends. It was a great time.
Indeed it is. Spoken from a former player himself. As Washington having a lot of fun in front of their home fans tonight. Got a little bit of time here at halftime. We're going to bring Joey Wright in, one of the co-founders of Clutch Sports Media. We'll give Christian a couple minutes to catch his breath. Doing a nice job on color commentary. But Joey, thanks for joining us here in the booth. You've done a fine job directing so far tonight, I will say, but it's nice to have you back on the headset.
Well, you say that because you've been looking out the window rather than at the but no, I want to give a shout-out to our entire crew. Sydney Barnes doing a great job, Jalen Harris, Ben Webster with us as well. Those are our two camera operators out in the cold. It gets a little chilly when you get to this portion of the season, but I want to give our entire crew a shout-out, and you guys are sounding great over here. So
yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far, and kind of going throughout this whole season, Joey, you're very in tune with the preps coverage here in Illinois. I know you're keeping an eye on all of it, of course, very in tune with what's happening here in Central Illinois, but spend a lot of your time, of course, down in the Champaign-Urbana area. Any teams down there from that direction, maybe in your coverage area with the News-Gazette that maybe could pose a threat to any of our Central Illinois teams?
Well, it's funny you asked that, Gavin, because tomorrow, the News-Gazette, Zach Pyatt will be on scene for Mahomet Seymour and Marion, and of course the winner of that game is here next week. Mahomet is here, I should say, if they win. So that'll be a fun one to keep an eye on. And for Mahomet Seymour, it's been a little tricky the last few years getting over that first-round playoff hump, but John Adkins has as good a team, I think, as he's had at Mahomet Seymour. They were a little beaten up earlier this year. lost their first Apollo Conference game in some time to a very good Mount Zion team, but I think they've found their footing. Big win against Richwoods last week, so I would keep an eye on the Bulldogs. I think every Washington fan should be keeping an eye on the Bulldogs if they're watching tonight.
Yeah, very good point. And, you know, Muhammad Seymour's had some good history with Central Illinois teams. I know Morton has been a team they've faced a couple times, both regular season and in the playoffs. What specifically, maybe a little bit of a scouting report if you got one on Muhammad Seymour, what should fans maybe be looking for if either of these teams end up matching up with them?
Yeah, and my apologies to the folks in Marion. I don't know quite as much about that roster, but for Muhammad Seymour, they've got a pretty good quarterback that can air the ball out. They like to run the ball. They're a very physical team, great linebackers. And really, I think for Washington, it's going to be a tough matchup against Muhammad Seymour's offensive line. They brought 3 of their 5 starters from last year into this season, and returning starters doesn't always equal success. But it's an experienced bunch. You know, they've been in these situations before. All this assuming they beat a good Marion team tomorrow. You know, nothing's guaranteed. But I think it would be two similar teams kind of matching up in terms of style and play and personnel and everything like that.
Yeah, I don't think maybe Washington's particularly rooting for anybody, but maybe rooting for a home game. And in order to get that, Washington would need to win tonight, hold on to this 38-0 lead they have, as well as Muhammad Seymour winning. That would guarantee the Panthers a home game next week. But of course, in your view, again, covering a lot of different teams, Washington very much included in a team that could potentially make it go all the way to Bloomington Normal for the state championship. What other teams do you have your eye on that you think might just have it in themselves to make it through the entirety of the state playoffs and maybe hoist a trophy at the end of the season?
Yeah, Washington's off to a great start. Looking at our Clutch Sports media area teams, I like that Dunlap team. I'll have to throw a live look in up here in just a second. That game's at half. They hit halftime at the same time. I was hoping we'd get a chance to watch some gameplay over there. But this Dunlap team feels like it's playing a little differently than it has in years past. You know, they've been challenged in the playoffs, but Brett Caslett knows the way. Washington fans might not want to hear that, but luckily they don't have to run into Dunlap again. So I'd keep an eye out on them in Class 6A. Looking at the smaller classes, some News Gazette area schools that I think Westville, the Tigers have been playing really good football all season long. Guy Goodlove's got a great bunch. Arthur Lovington, Atwood Hammond, they come in as a top seed again. You got to watch out for the Knights, and they've been maybe an under-the-radar team out of that Lincoln Prairie Conference. It's the usual suspects in the Illini Prairie Conference, Monticello, Unity. I think Unity's probably the team to beat out of that group this year. Bloomington Central Catholic as well, a team that we cover for CSM. Don't count out St. Joseph Ogden, though. They come in as a 14 seed playing at Benton tomorrow, but a lot of playmakers on that Spartans team that finished 5-4. I think if you're looking for one of those 5-4, 6-3 teams to pull off an upset, why not keep your eye on St. Joseph Ogden?
Yep, you just got to give yourself a shot and make the playoffs and then see what happens. 256 teams, if I believe I'm correct, make the playoffs. So you got to enter. Only a few will leave as champions, 8 to be exact, across the 8 classes here in Illinois. But before we let you get out of here, Joey, I know we've a lot of work going into CSM overtime. I know we threw that up on the screen earlier, but a lot of great coverage there. I know there's a lot more to come. Maybe just a little bit of a highlight for our folks at home, something to expect, a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff going in. What should folks expect if they sign up with CSM Overtime?
Yeah, and I'll have to throw the score. I'll have to throw the billboard up when I get back to my perch. Ben Webster's getting a much-needed rest over there. But, yeah, Clutch Sports Media Overtime. You know, we cover about 40 schools between the Peoria and Bloomington Normal areas. Jonathan Michael does such a great job kind of spearheading that effort. Our nightly roundups, every prep event in our area, we want to tell you who won and who did what, and you can look forward to that every night on ClutchSportsIL.com. Feature stories as well. Power rankings, AP polls. It's really a one-stop shop for all your Central Illinois prep sports needs. So, yeah, it's certainly worth subscribing and supporting everything we do. There we go. Sydney Barnes with the assist. So subscribe today. Clutch Sports Media Overtime. And there's also another billboard we flashed earlier. If you're looking to advertise and get your brand in front of all the fans we reach, and we appreciate everyone for tuning in every week, this ad could be yours. There you go. So sales at ClutchSportsIL.com, and we'll get you on board. And two, I forgot, Gavin, to mention Ryan Weber on our crew tonight, helping us with stats. And we've been working through a little technical glitch, but I think we've got that sorted out, so we'll flash him on the screen during the second half. And looks like he's been a big help for you guys Oh, appreciate that. Look at that, a little food delivered into the press box. Jeff Little, who we'll hear during the Tournament of Champions, helping us out. So great hospitality in Washington. Thanks to Ryan Weber. Thanks to you guys. You and Christian sounding great. And 2 minutes, I better take the headset off and get back over there.
Always a pleasure, Joey. Bringing in Joey Wright, co-founder of Clutch Sports Media, for a little bit. He'll head back to his hole in the directing booth, the production truck, if you will. Again, as you mentioned, great hospitality here in Washington. We'll bring Christian Courtney back in to the booth with us. Christian, got yourself a little break there at halftime, regroup, maybe drink a little bit of water, get the voice ready for the second half. But what do you think these teams were doing in the halftime locker room? What do you think they were both talking about respectively to get themselves ready for the second half?
Well, on the Pioneers side of the ball, you have to realize this is your season. There's, 24 minutes left in your season, and you have to be all gas, no brakes. So on the Pioneer side of the ball, just go out there, lay everything else you have on the line. You have nothing to lose at this point, only something to gain. So really just take pride in knowing this could be your last game. On the contrary, the Panthers side, just keep doing what you're doing. They've been so successful all game long and only looking to continue that success.
Very good points there, Christian. We'll see if that comes into effect. But here's a look in at the game on ciproud.com. That's Dunlap and Pekin. As Pekin currently trailing by 2 scores, they punt the ball away. You can join our crew over there, Jonathan Michael and Teddy Ball on the call for Clutch Sports Media on ciproud.com. Live from the Eagles' Nest in Dunlap. So that could come down to a very exciting finish, just like their regular season meeting, but we're glad you've joined us here in Washington, as it's been a fast, furious start in the first half for the Panthers. Clad in their orange, fans have stuck around. They sold them out of hot chocolate at halftime, so it's definitely chilly. Might need to invest in some more hot chocolate if the Panthers are able to hold on to this 38-0 lead for potentially more future home games in the playoffs. As jump around. It's time to jump around for the second half. And it's going to be the Pioneers to kick it off. Washington will get the ball first. Looking to continue to roll their dominance from the first half. Christian, talking earlier this week with Brody Walworth, head coach for the Pioneers. He said he's not a guy that lets stuff roll for too long. He's able to make changes quickly. He wants to just put the best guy in the best spot possible. Do you think maybe they make some changes in personnel? They've done it throughout this season. Do you make a change in personnel at halftime?
My only thought is what we were talking about earlier, and that is putting potentially quarterback Owen Kirby in the game. Their whole game plan leading up to this was to keep Washington on their toes with, Griffin Myers at QB, but maybe putting Owen Kirby in gives that effectiveness in the passing game rather than a two-way quarterback.
Yeah, it very much could, and you see the stats. They're only 47 passing yards on the day. Now, in large part, Griffin Myers been running around a lot. The offensive line hasn't been the most stable. But again, Owen Kirby, over 1,100 yards on the season, so he's done it a few times. And it's going to be a bit of a squib kick. James Johnson able to break through the hole and gets sat down right around the 45-yard line as the Panthers take back over.
Yeah, Johnson did a good job right there fielding the ball. Had enough room that he didn't have to call for a fair catch, able to pick up, 5 or 6 more yards, and he's already setting his team up with fantastic field position to start the second half.
And James Johnson, one of those multi-sport athletes we've talked about. Johnson, a star basketball player here for Washington. He's been on the varsity squad for several years. Finally a senior season, so he's looking to make the most of that. But on the football field first, there's Kamar Mack on first down. Breaks through in a big gain to start the second half. Kamar Mack, he shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, continuing right where they left off in this run game. We talked a lot about Freeman. Mack got a couple touches there in the second quarter, and Mack, firing right away to start the second half.
Great way to start half number 2. As it's going to be a pass this time. Garcia throws it over the middle. It's nearly caught. It is caught. What a catch, A.J. Jones!
Have yourself a day, A.J. Jones. What a fantastic catch it was by Jones, and he's having a tremendous outing.
Get a look at the replay. Garcia right over the middle. It looked like it might have been intercepted even. Second effort, Jones with another touchdown catch.
The hand-eye coordination on that catch needs to be studied. What an effort by Jones.
Good camera work, guys. That was awesome.
And they're going to bring on another kicker. Peyton Yetter kicks it through the uprights, so even the kicking well is deep in Washington. Here's another look at a different angle. Jones kind of tipped it to himself almost, and then able to control it as he hit the ground. There's not many players that can make that play.
No, there is not. And you take a look, Chenzo Catone looked like he had the ball in his hands. It was almost surefire that he was coming out of that with an interception. Just a tremendous effort and tremendous heads-up play right there by Jones, tipping it to himself, like you said, for a touchdown.
It was well defended, but again, just good defense, better offense. And that's the kind of plays that Washington is capable of making. So, again, if they are able to hang on to this going forward, could be a scary sight for future teams in the playoffs.
Just everything going right for Washington today.
As U-High will find themselves back on offense here in a moment. It's probably going to see quite a bit more of the reserves coming in for Washington, but nonetheless, big moment for them, both for later in this playoffs. Keep your starters fresh and able to get your backup some experience as they're going to go a low line drive kick. Clemenson fields it, and he's able to just hang on to it just short of the 40-yard line.
Yeah, good job right there by Clemenson, fielding the ball. If the ball goes out of bounds, there is a flag, but Clemenson able to pick it up and, create a return and give the Pioneers some of the best field position they've had all day. Out around the 39-yard line.
Not much of that so far for the Pioneers. First down, 39-yard line. Still going to be Meyer under center. Meyer looks, fakes, holds onto it himself. Finally finds some yardage to run and able to pick up a positive gain.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a play designed by purpose. It looked like they were trying to bubble screen right there. Meyer's able to pump fake and take it, able to create something out of nothing once again, pick up 7 yards.
As Meyer takes it. And he's going to fight back maybe for a half yard or so.
Quarterback keeper again by 11, Meyer.
Looks like some of the fans were wanting to block in the back right there. Nonetheless, nothing thrown, nothing called, and it brings up a third and manageable for U-High. Really just a huge moment into the game, and it pains us to say that in the third quarter, but any life needs to be shown here and pick up a first down.
See the corner on the outside. Caden Montgomery just kind of bearing down, taking away that near side. Meyer is going to be very close to the sticks. It was a nice, solid tackle. Looks like he's going to be about a half yard short.
29, Caden Park on the stop.
And you see right here, Meyer finally with some time in the pocket. Just nothing open. Great coverage right there by the Panthers defense. And they're able to meet him right before the sticks and put him in a fourth down position.
Fourth and 1. It's He's going to keep it himself. He gets through. Gets some yardage. There goes Griffin Meyer. Nice play from Meyer.
And this is the game plan that Brody Walworth wanted all along. That's why they have Griffin Meyer in the game, as he is able to do it on the ground.
Stop by 22, Anson Zeiser. First down, Pioneers.
And they get a much-needed first down. Finally some good blocking there. Around the 30-yard line. Airs it out deep, turns around, touchdown Pioneers!
Touchdown, U-High.
Finally a much-needed strike to Calvin Jones.
And a tremendous throw right there by Griffin Myers to Calvin Jones. Put it perfectly back shoulder for no one else to get it but Jones, and he did just that. A big spark this Pioneers team needed. And a big play right there.
Try to effort another look at it, but Jones just lined up on that near side and went one-on-one and won his matchup. As it looks like Washington was shading quite a bit over to that far side. As the kick is good.
Extra point by the Pioneers is good. Kicked in by number 40, Ethan Lavaza.
Well, Gavin, maybe not how you want to start defensively in the second half, but certainly how you want to start on the offensive side of the ball right there.
Yeah, definitely got to find some of those little victories. And, of course, Washington is maybe efforting in a few of their backups, but no excuses for Todd Stevens' group. He definitely wants to see continued success throughout this ball game, playing 4 quarters to finish it off. Clearly, U-High is obviously not going to lay down and accept defeat. They're going to continue playing for the entirety of this matchup, as we still got about nearly 20 minutes left of gameplay left to go in this game. Get a look at their sideline as they trot out onto the field.
Jalen, you're up. Sorry.
Washington back out. And we'll see if the U-High defense has something in them. Again, they did create a turnover in the first half. They forced that fumble, but maybe looking for another turnover, kind of create on that momentum, build on it a little bit.
Yeah, and even right now, conscious for an onside kick or a pooch kick.
They're going to squib it a little bit. It is going to be caught and returned. It'll brought down about the 42-yard line.
Number 29, Caden Park, the kick return.
Yeah, and that kick right there, pooch kick, letting it hang in the sky just so you can maybe have a chance. Maybe the return man fumbles the catch, or you get a good hit on him that creates a fumble. Just Washington doing a great job against it right now.
And Christian, I know you're hail more from the Chicagoland area, so maybe not quite as familiar with the legend of the Peoria High special teams, but Peoria High has been one of the better teams in the area for a number of years. And they're kind of known on their special teams to do a lot of short onside kicks. They, in fact, recover quite a few of them over the years after a short first down run. A very unusual decision to play. Not many teams in the state do what the Lions have done for years, well over a decade, but they simply, from start to finish, will try to catch teams off guard by just going for an onside kick, and it's worked more often than not, often to their favor, not something you see a whole lot.
It's funny you say that. When I was back playing football where I'm from, there's this team, Schaumburg, Saxons. They were the same exact way. I remember on senior night, my senior night, first play of the game, onside kick, and they recovered it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jalen, you're up. I'm going to go up there.
So just catching the teams off guard.
Yeah, certainly not something that happens a lot. A second effort brought down by U-High. But again, you kind of got to play that chess match, especially at this level. I've always said this, I will continue to die on this hill, Christian, that coaching at the high school level and the college level, not to say there's not fantastic, legendary, historic coaches at the professional level, but coaching is so much more meaningful when it comes to high school and college players because you're teaching them. You're kind of having to play chess, not checkers. It makes all the difference if you have good coaching or bad coaching.
Yeah, that's a great point right there, Gavin. You're teaching these young men not how to be players, but in addition, how to be good young men. And, you know, you really are a great role model in their life.
It's brought down on third down. It looks like we've got some substitutions, bringing in some of the backups. Gabe Immendorfer was the quarterback on the play for the Panthers. So Garcia looks like he's been relieved for the day, as has Will Freeman. We'll see if it stands for the evening. But again, it would finish the day off with Noah Garcia, 111 rushing yards on just 5 carries, which is insane to say, as the punt is away. And it takes a bounce right around the 25. And then back for Will Freeman, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns. Final passing stats, 5 of 7 for Garcia, exactly 100 yards, right on the dot. 2 touchdowns on the day, both of them to A.J. Jones, who caught 97 of those 100 yards from Noah Garcia. So all around, just a tremendous day. Look at the total offense. Combined 333 yards for the Panthers, despite a couple of backwards plays here in the second half. Not much else you can say. It's just been tremendous from the Washington starters.
Yeah, just a great showing for the Panthers, as they, like you said, to your point, have done everything right, from running to passing to defense.
And it's going to be Owen Kirby. He's going to be the new quarterback in. Figure we might see a change at some point. He completes a pass to Dameron. So Owen Kirby, he's a junior, and very promising at that. Normally, U-High definitely has got a good one that will be back next year. Again, prior to taking a back seat on the bench. As we look at the overall rush yards, not much going on, so look to Kirby to maybe get a spark in the air, see if that will work. Kirby throws over the middle, finds Cunningham.
Pass complete by the Pioneers again.
There's the pass yards.
Number 2, Cade Cunningham.
Not many of those so far, but again, Kirby 1,100 yards on the season, 5 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. That's a pretty good ratio for a junior quarterback, and he's appeared in all 9 games, but he started 6 of them.
Yeah, and he's a junior quarterback, so he's still learning. He's still ironing out these wrinkles, and that's what he can do. He can, create this offense. He can also run a little bit too.
He's going to take it himself. Definitely more of a pocket presence than compared to Meyer. Meyer a little more fleet of foot. They will move the sticks, though. So a successful start to Kirby's evening. Has definitely maybe a little more in, hey, let's build something for the future territory. Of course, maybe not the way U-High looks to end, assuming this result hangs on. But it's been a successful uptrend over the years to the Pioneers. There's a completion to Clemenson. He's brought down quickly.
Yeah, like you're saying, Gavin, it's almost like a tryout for next year. Prove your spot. And Kirby's done that this year. And put him in a playoff experience, or playoff setting, right here. Shows a lot how he can manage this offense, down a big deficit, how he can control his group of guys.
So it'll be second down, about 9. Right around the line of scrimmage. Kirby steps back, throws, deep ball. It is a nice pass and catch. There's Kirby with a nice arm right to Cunningham.
Yeah, right away, Kirby making his presence felt. Take a look at it right here. A drop back, and Kirby places it right in the breadbasket of Cunningham.
That was a beautiful throw and catch. And as you see, Kirby, maybe not the best dual threat quarterback, but he's got a nice arm.
Yeah.
Very accurate. Threw that pretty much with ease. He'll go again at it. Second time a charm. Just out of the reach. Cunningham might have got a fingertip on it.
Well, we see them go right back at it. Kirby to Cunningham, he likes that target, and that one, like you said, just nearly out of the reach of Cunningham. Could have been a huge play and a huge gain for the Pioneers.
I'll correct myself. That was Catone. Number 1, number 2, very close together. But nevertheless, it was a very, very close pass. I mean, again, just maybe merely inches, and that could have been a big gainer for Catone. They'll go trips on the near side. Catone and Cunningham right next to each other. It's going to be Dameron this time on a handoff. Haven't seen a ton of these, but he'll have enough for a first down. So as we end the third quarter, stuff's starting to click a little bit for the Pioneers. Owen Kirby has the ball moving, but it's still all Panthers 45-7. One more quarter. The Panthers trying to run it out and move on to the second round of the playoffs. And while we got a break in the action, we'd like to let you know you could be sponsoring with us right here. You can email us at sales@clutchsportsil.com for more details. And we can help your business, your product expand right here in Central Illinois to thousands of sports fans, football fans, volleyball fans, otherwise. We'd love to hear from you. Just to find out more information, right there. The big green circles flash on your screen. Yeah, that's what you need to email right there. Open up Gmail, Yahoo, whatever you got on your phone. No questions asked. We'd love to hear from you. As with Joey Wright, is having maybe a little too much fun on the controls, but that's what this is all about, right, Christian?
Yeah.
Also, CSM Overtime. How about that? The QR code right there on your screen. If you weren't sure, that is the QR code. Joey Wright making me laugh over here in the booth. I believe that's something of an exclamation point. There's lots of great stuff on CSM Overtime, though. Lots of great stories. Whole army of writers on that contingent. Kirby starts off the fourth quarter with a strike to Cunningham, and once again, Owen Kirby, he's somebody who'd already put on the maybe a little bit too early watch list for 2026.
Yeah, Kirby proved himself this year early on. Let's take a look at this play action pass. You know, Kirby placing it perfect for Cunningham right in the middle of his route. Able to hit him in stride, and that's a great matchup right there.
Kirby working quickly. Wasting no time. He drops back. Under pressure, he'll get the screen pass off this time. Dameron sidesteps, and he'll be just shy of the goal line.
Yeah, tremendous play call right there. Able to, that's how you beat an aggressive defensive line that's always flying to the ball, flying to the quarterback. You catch them off guard with the screen pass right there, and they did that perfectly. Bringing up a 2nd and 1, it looks like, maybe even less, inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, pretty much it's touchdown or bust here for the Pioneers. We'll see how their goal line offense fares. Haven't seen this much today. Their lone touchdown was a long strike. It is going to be a pass. Cunningham will get it. Touchdown, Pioneers, as they get their second score of the second half. And Cade Cunningham finds his 14th touchdown of the season.
Yeah, 14 touchdowns of the season. I'm surprised we didn't see much more Cunningham, but right there showing you why he had 900 yards on the season, why he had 14 touchdowns, has 14 touchdowns. And I'll tell you what, Kirby has been very impressive on this one drive he got.
And Cunningham, when he's one-on-one, you pretty much always have to devil cover him. They did that a lot earlier in the game. They were expecting maybe a little bit more of a up-the-middle play at the goal line, but Kirby shows off the arm, and he adds his 16th touchdown of the season, so helping the numbers out, padding the stats. It's going to be a fake. It's going to be Meyer. Throws it back of the end zone, and it's out of the reach of Clemenson. To me, it looked like a fake.
I think that might have just been a little trouble on the snap right there. Take another look at it. Yeah, a little muff snapping. That's why they have the quarterbacks as the holders. From my experience, on a play like that, you're yelling fire, 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 and your 2 tight ends on the line are going out for a route. So it looks like a, schemed up play, but something that they just practice.
Yeah, he bailed out of that one. It was a low snap. Not able to handle much, but you look there, top of your screen, overall yardage for the day. Again, Washington sticking over that 300 mark, but U-High starting to bring the stats up a little bit. The pass yards significantly have increased in these last few minutes with Owen Kirby, 137 on the day. But again, those rushing stats just special for the Panthers, and they really haven't even had to do much of that here in the second half.
Yeah, it speaks volume. Like you said, in the second half, they haven't really had those explosive plays. They've had, I think, 2 drives, and nothing too much happened out of them. But this is mainly from the first half, 253 rushing yards, just a lethal and dangerous backfield that Washington does have.
Very dangerous, but once again, a word for Owen Kirby, who's 7 of 8, 60 yards and a touchdown. So he's come in and shown up for the Pioneers, and again, just a junior. Big things to come for him. Panthers going to attempt a return, and will be brought down around the 25-yard line. As we're running clock territory. We're earlier in the third quarter, so the clock will continue to roll. Aside from timeouts and scoring plays, still a few minutes to run a few plays, maybe try something out of the playbook. Christian, I don't know, as a high school football player in a situation like this, not to call it garbage time, but some of these late game scenarios with not a lot on the line, do you maybe just try to work out some other stuff in the playbook, or just kind of just keep practicing what you're good at?
It depends, especially when there's, the second string is in. I think you want to get reps at what they know best. I certainly, wouldn't rule out, a play that they wouldn't run too often.
And we'll see if they go with something a little untraditional. Saw a live look in a moment ago. Dunlap up 35-14, so their lead increasing as they're nearing the end of the third quarter. Danger time for the Dragons. So we could see the Eagles and the Panthers both moving on this evening. Again, Metamora back in action tomorrow. That one is live on ClutchSportsAll.com, I believe at 1 o'clock. So get a little afternoon football for your liking. Maybe you're heading throughout your day to start November. November 1st tomorrow. As the Panthers will hand it off on second down. And it looks like they're not going to get risky here, Christian. They're just going to kind of go with some simple plays and see what works out.
Yeah. Just stick to what they know best. They don't want to have any uncostly turnovers or anything that would jeopardize a win at this point of the game.
Regroup here. 8 minutes to go. A lot of folks have stuck on despite the cold temperatures, cheering on the Panthers to a victory. Even quite a few U-High fans holding on to the last buzzer. It's going to be nearly a sack and finally brought out, but it's a fumble. U-High is going to try to scoop it up. They get it. Second turnover recovered of the day by the Pioneers.
Yeah, that's going to be Corey Dolk right there on the fumble recovery. Looks like he had a chance to scoop and score. Nonetheless, still able to dive on it and create great field position for his team.
Again, they might be a little, too little, too late situation, but still a lot of positives to take away in the last few minutes here for the Pioneers. We'll see if Owen Kirby comes back out. Looks like, though, it'll be Griffin Meyer to come back out. And, of course, Meyer, a senior, probably letting him get his last few reps in. But you got to like what you saw at Owen Kirby going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Kirby had a tremendous drive, leading to 6 on the board for the Pioneers.
And a timeout as Brody Walworth will call his team over.
And before we have this next snap, we have a timeout, University High.
Looking maybe potentially like Brody Walworth is going to maybe relieve some of his seniors here to a ovation from the crowd potentially as U-High fans stand on the other side.
Game time is 11 a.m.
Looks like they might give a little final farewell to the seniors. Special moment indeed, and you've been there before, you know, an emotional moment, you know, a lot probably going through these guys' minds. 4 years of football, maybe not the last football game they may ever play.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are the guys you grew up with. You know, even if it is 4 years, you've bonded with these people so much, and it's so special, and it's very emotional. As we see some of the seniors checking out maybe for their last time.
And it's a total line change for the Pioneers. So getting a look at the future of the Panthers and the future of the Pioneers for about 7 minutes here as Owen Kirby does come back out under center. But again, a whole new host of players in white jerseys. Kirby is going to keep it himself. A little bit of a keeper, stumbles forward for a couple yards.
Quarterback keeper by number 10, Owen Kirby.
Probably a good decision there. It looked like the running back was going to get blown up, and Kirby made the right decision.
Yeah, good read right there by Kirby, able to recognize the edge, pressure, and just keep it. Able to pick up 4 yards for himself as well.
Second down, U-High.
Second down. It will be a handoff this time. Lucas Langelier.
25, Lucas Langelier, the carry for the Pioneers.
And gets to a 3rd and short.
Yeah, Langelier is a freshman, so a very good look at the future of this Pioneers team.
5'9", 160.
3rd and
And
2.
able to say he played in a playoff football game. Freshman year, you know, definitely could bode well here in a couple seasons when he's got a lot more experience. Pioneers really have been historically a team that has been very good. Believe it or not, they are credited with winning a state championship in 1913. Now, of course, that was pre-modern era IHSA. As Kirby goes the end zone once again, did that get picked off? Wow. That was an insane pickoff. How about that from Anson Zeiser?
Yeah, oh my goodness, Zeiser. We saw on the offensive side of the ball a tipped touchdown. Here's a tipped interception. Here's another look at it right now.
Wow.
My goodness.
Put that one on the highlight reel for sure. I mean, once again, Owen Kirby, not a bad throw, but Anson Zeiser with a highlight-worthy play.
Yeah, it looked like Zeiser just high-pointed the ball, almost like he was the receiver, like running the route all over. Great coverage and just a tremendous catch. Oh, my goodness.
Look at that. Reaching the arm out, full extension, brings it into his body, and very clearly an interception. Panthers force another turnover in the late going. Speedy back, bursting out, and pushed out of bounds is Ian Merrick. Merrick, a junior.
Big gain on the play, shoved
It's
out of
like
bounds
Washington just produces great running backs.
at the 35-yard line.
Just, I mean, right there,
Washington.
able to get the edge and burst of speed, picks up a first down.
Yeah, Washington is probably among the top schools in the area for producing running backs. Probably right up there with Peoria High. Morton has produced a lot of good running backs as well. There's another handoff. This time the angle was cut off, but stays on his feet. Merrick dropped back after a couple yards.
Yeah, good job right there for the
34
Pioneers,
carries again for the Panthers.
forcing the running back to cut back inside, and at that point, all the white defenders are swarming the football.
Washington.
A good defensive effort right there.
3.5 to go. So even more players getting a chance to come out. Freshman Grant Osborne now under center. So really hitting the depth. Merrick gets another look, but he's wrapped up. Nearly stayed on his feet, but he's wrapped up for a loss.
Yeah, that's Andrew Fieldstead. And Fieldstead had himself a tremendous year. Only a junior, but 52, now 53 total tackles and 5.5 sacks on the season. He has really been strong and a key point to this defense.
Again, once one of those parts, they'll be back next year for the Pioneers. This is their third straight playoff after kind of a stretch of years they weren't in the mix for the playoffs. 20th playoff appearance all time since that was started back in 1974 in the modern era of the IHSA. Prior to that Anson Zeiser catch, I was going in my deep dive of knowledge of useless IHSA history that I love researching so much. But yeah, 1913, U-High won a state championship way in the early days of football here in Illinois. And then since the modern era, they've made the playoffs now 20 times. Quite a few of those years they were in 5A. The past 2 years they have been in Class 4A, so 5A not too unfamiliar territory, but they're actually the second smallest school in Class 5A this season. So a little bit against them there with the enrollment, but they can hold their own. Merrick will tack on some more rushing yards. He's got some guys on his back and finally brought down.
A great run there by Merrick the junior, showing his speed on display. However, there is a flag on the play. It's just another look as Merrick able to cut inside. Unfortunately, it is going to be called holding against the Panthers.
That's a bummer. Merrick definitely had a huge run there, but it is good enough for a first down as the spot of the foul gives him enough for the first down. As we approach 1 minute remaining, and that's going to be all she wrote. Maybe another play or two. Run out the final part of the clock, but what a game from Washington. They will move on to round number 2 of the IHSA State Football Playoffs. They're just a few weeks away from hoping they go down to Hancock Stadium in Normal. That's the host of the IHSA State Football Championship. This could be the last play we get here. Merrick, one more carry. Cuts back through, and we'll get some positive yardage, and that might be the end of the ball game.
Yeah, it looks like that might be it for today. Like you were saying, Gavin, just a tremendous display of effort from both teams and a tremendous outing from the Panthers as they really did everything to a T and perfectly.
It was an excellent, well-played game from Washington. Normally, U-High just not able to get their footing early enough in the ball game. Comes in a losing effort, but they wrap up their season right at 500, 5-5 overall. Faced some adversity, some injuries throughout the year. Still able to make these state playoffs, which is not an easy thing to do. But the Washington Panthers will move on to round number 2. They will face either Marion or Muhammad Seymour, as we talked about with Joey Wright at halftime. If Muhammad Seymour wins, it means next week's game will be back here in Washington, either Friday or Saturday, to be determined. If Marion wins, that game will be hosted at Marion. So Panther fans might want to keep an eye on tomorrow's proceedings in the round 2 of the playoffs. But as we wrap things up, get a final look at our stats. Ryan Weber taking care of our stats tonight, and we'll start with the Panthers. They had it all going. Again, 5 of 7 for Noah Garcia, 100 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. A.J. Jones was the recipient of both of those, 4 receptions, 97 yards, and again, those 2 touchdown grabs. Rushing totals to finish the day, it was Will Freeman, 9 carries, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Noah Garcia, 5 carries, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kamar Mack, a couple of carries for 40 yards. Ian Merrick, 6 carries, 41 yards. A handful of other Players got in briefly. Grand total 368 yards in the game. Again, we've talked about it quite a bit, but that's just an insane stat line and a lot of players getting in on the action for the Panthers.
Yeah, you love to see that. You love to get these younger guys reps, especially in a environment like this, a playoff environment, and that happens through getting it done in the first half, taking care of business, and that's exactly what Washington did here today.
And not to leave out the U-High Pioneers, finish up their stats for the day. Griffin Meyer, he was 9 of 19 for 77 yards, threw 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Owen Kirby had a nice showing late in the game, 7 of 9 for 60 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Cade Cunningham made the most of his final game in a U-High uniform. 8 receptions, 85 yards, and a touchdown. The running game was led by Dameron, 6 carries, 25 yards on the day. Total 186 yards for the Pioneers. Christian, will wrap it up here. It was a great game. Lots more to be seen in the playoffs. What are you excited for over the next couple weeks?
I'm really excited to look and forward to see how this Washington Panthers team continues to play. We preached on it. It sounds like a broken record at this point, but this team is truly something special. They get it done at all 3 levels, special teams, defense, and offense, and they really, really have a good chance this year.
They certainly do. Christian, it was a pleasure calling the game with you, and all of our Clutch Sports Media team doing a fantastic job top to bottom this season. But for those of us out here tonight, Ben Webster, Jalen Harris were the men behind the cameras, bracing the cold, getting the job done. Well done for them. Thank you to them as well. Sydney Barnes and Joey Wright were behind the controls this evening. And Christian Courtney alongside me. It's been Gavin Russell here from Washington. We appreciate the Panthers for their hospitality, letting us in here. Jeff Little bringing us some Subway, some cookies. I know me and Joey Wright are going to be fighting over those cookies immediately following this broadcast. And we'll be back with more playoff coverage tomorrow from Metamora as they embark on their playoff journey. I believe that's a 1 o'clock kickoff, so come back to ClutchSportsOwl.com for more coverage. We'll have more coverage throughout the entirety of the playoffs on CSM Overtime. Lots to look forward to, so stay tuned with us here at CSM. Again, final score, Washington 45, Normal U-High 13. Thank you for joining us this evening. For Christian Courtney, Gavin Russell, and the rest of our CSM team, we will see you next time.